Okay, so I think this is part 6 of Star Cluster Block. This is my chaos quilt. And so we've got our outline and we've got all our fabric. You know, I've got it all cut. I got it squared away and how we're going to do it. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to eye how I want to put my block together. And so I kind of make like a line of how, and so I'm going to put this in 4 blocks to make one block. It's just kind of easier to do that. And so then I know that once I get my first block, then I know that I'm going to sew this row together first. And then I'll come and I will sew D and then this row together next. It kind of goes sideways. And then I will do this row and then I will put my strip on after I connect all these. So let's do that. And because this is the chaos quilt we were going to use, in our drawing, we picked the turquoise hand quilting thread. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew these triangles together. And then we're going to sew these two together. And then we're going to sew these two together. Then we're going to sew this onto this. So then we have that first row completed. Now we're going to sew these two triangles, we're going to start here, these triangles together. And then we're going to do this block. And then we're going to sew these together. Now, one thing I do on this is, I know I finger pressed it. Well, I used my little tool, my seam tool. But anyway, I have to switch this. So I need to make sure that my points line up. So I'm going to sandwich these together. So I'm going to make one seam go one way and one seam go the other way. And so that's what helps sandwich this together and makes your seams line up a little better. You know, you can pin this if you want. I don't typically. Sometimes I pin, sometimes I don't. And because that seam's right there, I'm going to do a back stitch just to hold that down just a little bit. If it's a little thick, sometimes I might do a little back stitch. You can mark your seam allowance if you want, your 1/4 of an inch. I don't typically mark mine. I just eyeball it. And then we're going to tie it off. And I normally do a back stitch just right in a row. Sometimes I will do a back stitch and I will cross my thread under to hold it. It's whatever you want to do. But I just do that about 3 or 4 times. And then I cut my thread. And I leave a little bit on my thread. I like them short, but I don't take them too short. Okay, so then when I get that done, I got that done. So you can either go ahead and sew this together and then sew this together, or you can go ahead and finish this row. I'm going to go ahead and finish this row on my own, and then I'll come back and we'll sew everything together. Okay, so now we're going to sew this row together. I'm going to come back on my next video. I'm going to go ahead and sew this together. We'll come back and then we'll sew everything together.